my girls with me.
Out towards Chloe Rolly, wonderful step from the Scotland international, gliding away, running away, sprinting away, stunning score!
Lewis on the wraparound. This might work out for Thompson. They're going to put a little bit more on it, and then they're over.
Large on the ball, lovely flighted pass, Tatiana Hurd with a straight line, streaking towards the try line in the opening minute. She spills away, dives over the line, wonderful fly from Tatiana Hurd.
Megan Gunnar puts the afterburners on. Shannon Harris, 2-on-1 is Lydia Thompson. Oh no, you're not going to catch Lydia Thompson from there. Scott, oh, it's intercepted by Emily Serret. They won't catch Emily Serret from there. The long legs just eating up the ground. Oh, Chloe Rowley's making her way back, but she won't catch her. Emily Serret has been on fire.
Carson again, she's having an absolute stormer of a second half. The Canadian international still going, gets the offload out. Lottie Clack bursts away from the tackles, gives it off. Carson again, looks around the outside, Packer for the hat-trick. What a score from Saracens. What a comeback.
Ride with me. All my girls with me. Ride with me.
Turnover by Malloy. And McDonald sets off. Claudia McDonald. Mack is back and in fine style. Oh, it's a fine strike. Marston controlling brilliantly. Bristol Pack going forward. It's a penalty try. Oh, now there's a gap. Burgess.
Ride with me. All my girls with me.
Hello and a very warm welcome from the stadium here at Loughborough University. Of course, Loughborough University hosting the Under-17 UEFA Euros as well as the Bucks Super Rugby Games. But today we are joined for the Allianz Premier Games. Round 6, Loughborough Lightning versus DMP Durham Sharks. Hello, good afternoon. My name is Rosa Serret from LSUTV and I'm delighted to be joined today by our lead commentator for today's match, Sam Peters. Sam, sporting a very nice November stash there. How's that go for you?
Thanks for having me. Yeah, our rugby team all decided to go for November. It's going well, as you can see, just about. If you do know anyone doing November, make sure to go and donate. It's a very worthy cause.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so ahead of today's game, I mean, I was hoping it was going to be a little bit sunnier today and a little bit clearer, but it's a little bit drizzly. I mean, what are you making of the conditions today for the teams?
Yeah, well, the weather forecast lied to us again. It said it was going to be sunny all week. We did get good weather, but it rained a bit this morning. It's a bit drizzly now. Hopefully that shouldn't affect the game too much. We should still see a lot of flowing rugby and a lot of tries.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, this isn't the only game that is happening today. We've got a couple of other games happening across the country. So we're going to have a look and see what other games are happening and look to see how the league table could change today. All right, so one game has already started today. We have Exeter Chiefs playing their home game against Wasps. We will make sure that we got those scores coming in soon. And then joining us at 2 o'clock for our Loughborough Lightning game, we have DMP Durham Sharks, as well as Loughborough Lightning, and Bristol Bears versus Saracens. That could be a pretty interesting game. And then slightly later on this afternoon at 2:30, we've got 2 games going on. Gloucester versus Hartbury versus Harlequins, as well as South Sharks versus Worcester Warriors. Sam, what are you making of today?
Yeah, well, in the early window, Exeter Wasps should be a very good game. Exeter, tough start, but they've won their last 2 and should be looking to topple a very strong Wasp team. And equally, later on, we've got Gloucester Hartbury against an undefeated Harlequins. Both teams looking for a top 4 finish this year, so that should be a really good game.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, before the game starts today, it's always good to see what the previous teams have done. We're going to take you to the highlights of the previous Durham game against Exeter Chiefs.
Exeter Chiefs were on the lookout for back-to-back wins as they travelled to DMP Durham Sharks. The home side had made 6 changes after their defeat against Wasps, and they had the lead inside 5 minutes. Awarded a penalty, Beth Blacklock knocking this one over with ease. Chiefs retaliated just 5 minutes later with the first try of the match. Prop Laura Delgado bundled the ball over after several phases. Gabby Cantora added the 2. Blacklock had taken Sharks within 1 with another penalty kick before Chiefs added a second try. The backs worked the ball to the wing, where Garnet McKinder was on hand to score in the corner. A matter of moments after the restart, and McKinder had a second. Special praise for a dummy and lung-busting break from Merin Deutsch, eventually feeding McKinder to blast past the remaining DMP tacklers and dot down. Cantora again solid with the conversion, Chiefs 13 ahead. They weren't done in the first half either. They still had time to send Kate Zachary over for another 5-point score, and it meant they had the all-important bonus point try inside the first 35 minutes of this game. We reached the midway point. The Chiefs led 24-6. A matter of minutes into the second period, and Patricia Garcia added herself to the score sheet, bursting into the 22 and stepping the fullback to get over the whitewash for another Chiefs converted try. And that was it for the scoring. Chiefs up into 6th position in the table. Sharks still searching for their first points.
Yeah, that was a really tough game from Durham Sharks last weekend. Sam, what did you make of that game?
Well, we saw DMP miss a couple of key tackles in the first half that Exeter took advantage of, but they really rebounded well for the second half, holding Exeter to just 1 score. But they are a young squad, and the only way is up for them from here.
Yeah, and I mean, they're up against Loughborough Lightning today. It's going to be a bit of a tough game, I think. I mean, what did you make of Loughborough Lightning? Yeah,
well, we saw they had a tough game against Quinns. They didn't make the most of Quinns' high penalty count and didn't get enough clean line-out ball off the top. But that's something they worked on, and hopefully we'll see a lot of today.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, Loughborough came back with their 3 line-out turnovers last weekend with Worcester Warriors. I mean, it was a pretty good game, I'm not going to lie.
It was a good game.
Should we have a look at the highlights? Let's have a look at the highlights between Loughborough and Warriors.
Nice.
After a first loss of the season last time out, Loughborough Lightning arrived at the Sixway Stadium looking to get back to winning ways. But they would have to do it without a host of players away on international duty. Warriors were without Alex Matthews and Laura Keats, also away with their country, so a first start of the season for Cara Brinkett. The play was rather to and fro in the opening 20 minutes, Lightning going closest, however Warriors standing firm just inches from their own line. With 10 minutes remaining in the half, Lightning got a breakthrough. Big slice on the kick from Abigail Kershaw led to the Warriors being penalised in a very central position. The 3 scored from the boot of Helen Nelson, Scott delivering at the first time of asking. Just a few minutes were left on the clock in the first period when Lightning finally found the magic to unlock this stubborn Warriors defence. Abigail Brown into Rachel Malcolm, and the flanker broke through the line before finding Rona Lloyd on hand to take over. Before Brown got the ball back and forces her way over the line. A missed conversion meant that Lightning took a slender 8-0 lead into the break. It might have taken 33 minutes to find a way through for Lightning for a try in the first half. It took just 2 in the second. Brown again, brilliant this time, setting Olivia Jones on her way on the halfway line. The flying winger still had obstacles to overcome, and just 10 metres out, Jones finally had to release. Malcolm joining in, and eventually Rona Lloyd would go over for the Scotland International's second try of the season. Vicky Foxwell got the Warriors on the scoreboard with the boot. A penalty on 43 helped the hosts reduce the gap to 10. Foxwell then had a chance to lower the deficit, this time though striking the post. Just moments later, Lightning punished the Warriors with their third try of the game. Emma Hardy broke clear and was unstoppable as the centre forced her way past Victoria Laughlin and set down under the sticks. Helen Nelson doesn't miss from there. Lightning 17 points clear with 17 minutes left on the clock. Warriors had worked hard throughout the game, getting close to the visitors' try line on a couple of occasions. 10 minutes remaining, they finally crossed it. Quick thinking and a quick tap penalty from Katie Mattinson was rewarded as she burrowed over. It was defeat for Warriors on home turf. Lightning handled the late rally and the rain to cement themselves into third position in the Allianz Premier 15's table.
Well, let's have a look at the state of play so far. What is going on in the league table? Well, we know that the two big dogs are sitting at the top of the table. Harlequins and Saracens both winning all of their games so far on 25 points. But Loughborough Lightning not that far away on 19 points, sitting nicely in third place. Wasps and Gloucester both sitting on 16 points there. That could be very interesting if Gloucester win today's game. Exeter Chiefs and Bristol Bears both on 11 points. Worcester Warriors sitting on 6. Durham Sharks at the bottom of the table, unfortunately. But then we've got South Sharks with their bonus losing point just above Durham Sharks at 1 point. Okay, so just before this, we caught up with some of the coaches from both teams. We're gonna have a look at our interview with Simon Middleton from Lightning Sharks. For joining today's interview ahead of today's game. Loughborough Lightning looking pretty strong. You've only lost against Quins so far, but you came back with Worcester Warriors. How important was it to win that game last week?
Yeah, obviously, you know, the Quins game was probably more disappointing through our lack of our application in the first half. You know, we knew it would be a tough game, you know, top of the table clash, but we were pretty pleased with how we finished, but we're probably more frustrated that we didn't start the game well enough there. So, you know, to have Worcester the following week was a chance to put things right, and you know, in tough circumstances, we managed to do really well there, and obviously get the win, which is important. But I think the style of win was probably more important as well. So, yeah, pleased in the last couple of weeks where we are, and really excited about playing today.
Yeah, and I mean, what are you making overall of the whole team's performance so far?
Yeah, I think one of our biggest things this year is our squad. You know, we've got some fantastic players, some of the world's best in certain positions, which is great. But I think the depth of the squad across is probably the biggest thing for me. You know, we've some of our most consistent and better performances have been some of our younger players and our sort of first year students, which is really pleasing to see. So I think that's our biggest difference now is the depth of our squad, which actually creates a lot of competition and some headaches for us as coaches. But it's a really good place to be, and you know, to be one loss from 5 and to go into round 6, looking to carry on with that, it's a really good place to be.
Yeah, and I mean, we saw a line-up bounce back last weekend between Worcester Warriors. Is that something that you and the girls have been working on for this week against Durham Sharks today?
Yeah, you know, every game's difficult now. You know, the new franchises have come in and added some real value to the league, so we know every game's going to be competitive. So for us now, it's important that we're aware of what we're playing against, but actually just concentrate on ourselves. You know, and as long as we're accurate and we keep the ball and we apply our way of playing and a tempo that we can play at, then, you know, we're pretty confident against any team. Which is back to our Quins game, which is disappointing because we did that in the last sort of 20 minutes. So we know it's important we do it for 70, and that's the focus today, that we come out, start quickly and keep that tempo all game.
Yeah, cool. I mean, you've got all of your international players out on the field starting today. I mean, are they tired at all, or are they raring to go? No,
I mean, I think they were pretty tired at the start of the week, I think it's fair to say, but you know, we've had some good conversations, and we had a really good training week as a squad, and the energy around the group this week has been pretty phenomenal. So we've had a great training week, and it's all been geared on in terms of coming out today and actually expressing ourselves and performing, and it's amazing what a game of rugby in the current circumstances can motivate you to do. So we're pretty excited about what we can do today, and to have those guys back after international duty. duty is just an added bonus that you know, the quality we've got across the board now is pretty good.
Yeah, amazing. Thank you so much for joining today's interview. Best of luck today. I'm really looking forward to see what happens.
Brilliant. Thank you very much.
Brilliant to hear from Rhys Edwards from Loughborough Lightning. And it's always good to talk about the England versus France game last weekend. Sam, what did you make of that game?
I absolutely loved that game. For me, it was the best match of the entire weekend, both men's and women. England just have an addiction to winning, and it's great to watch.
Absolutely, and I mean, it was all down to Emily Serret in those final couple of minutes. She brought it back for the whole team. She's a really reliable player. I mean, do you think that benefits both Loughborough Lightning and England? Yeah,
well, when you're World Player of the Year, there's obviously a lot of pressure on you to perform, but she's shown she can do that for both club and country. But I wouldn't put it all down to her at the weekend. I think Simon Middleton made some excellent subs midway through, and they really impacted the game in England's favour. Yeah,
it's a brilliant squad out there today, and they've got some younger players as well. So Moena Torling out there, she's just 18 years old. I mean, what do you think that, how do you think that she's coping so far?
Yeah, I mean, when you're 18 and you've already got 3 caps for England, that's every player's dream. But it's great that she's got the experience for playing for her country now before the World Cup. And I think it really benefits her that she's got some internationals here like Sarah Hunter who can give her that experience.
Yeah, a really, really strong influence for them as well. I mean, we'll talk about some of their problems that they had last weekend. In terms of passing accuracy, we saw the ball not quite being passed properly. I mean, what did you think of that? Do you think that they've had to improve on this for today's game?
Well, I don't think the weather helped them last week. It was there was rain, the ball was slippy, and it's sort of the same today, but I think it's definitely something they'll have drilled down on, and hopefully they'll have eliminated those mistakes.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, moving on to DMP Durham Sharks, we caught up with the head coach today. Unfortunately, Serret Dixon is self-isolating, so we caught up with the replacement today, Sam Jamieson, for DMP Durham Sharks. For joining us in replacement of Serret Dixon today, self-isolating. How is he?
Stuart's fine. Yeah, I think he's just frustrated with the isolation, but obviously we've got to do what we've got to do, and if 2020 has taught us one thing, it's how to deal with change and to adapt to last-minute alterations. So.
Yeah, absolutely. And talking about DMP Durham Sharks, at the moment, still no points on the league table so far. I mean, what are you making of the girls' performance?
We're actually really pleased with how our performance is progressing. Obviously, we had a really, really tough start to the season. The way that we look at this campaign is that for us it's a 3-year campaign. We've got a lot of really young players in the squad at the moment, and it's going to take time for them to kind of develop and come through. So every week we're looking at the stats, looking at how we're progressing on the field and how training's going, and constantly reviewing and adapting. But we're happy that things are moving in the right direction.
Yeah, and I mean, today you're up against strong squad, Loughborough Lightning. I mean, what have you guys been doing to get ready for today's match?
To be honest with you, a lot of our focus is still very much on ourselves. There's a lot of development work that we're doing, like we mentioned with the young players, so we tend to stay really, really focused on our processes and making sure that they're really, really firmly embedded and progressing. So we know Loughborough are obviously going to be really threatening. We know the players that we've got, there's no shying away from that, but as much as possible we try and stay focused on ourselves.
Yeah, I'm loving the optimism here, great. I mean, you have just also partnered with Durham University. How has that benefited the team?
The benefits are massive to that. We've worked closely with Durham for a number of years. Obviously, quite a few of our players come from Durham University, so there's naturally been a less formal link. But through this kind of the new kind of cycle of the Premiership, we've really formalised that. So, I mean, in terms of coaching support, sports science support, and a lot of the kind of off-field stuff, we're seeing lots of benefits, or we would expect to see lots of benefits. Obviously, the way that things have been this year, we've not been as close as we would have liked to been, but for the time being, it's working as best we could expect it to, I guess.
Yeah, and some of the players have obviously had some injuries throughout the league so far. How important is it to get them back into training and competition?
Yeah, I mean, obviously it's vital. More important that they're fit and well, and that we take our time and we go through the process with them. Like I said, we're at the very beginning of a campaign, so for us there's no need for us to be rushing people back at the moment. So, but obviously we want to be able to pick our best players every week. So sometimes a bit frustrating, but the players are doing everything that they can to get back fit, and the medical staff are really taking care of them, as well as S&C.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. Thank you very much for joining today's interview. Best of luck for today. I'm really looking forward to see what happens.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Then, ahead of today's game, let's have a look at the lineups. Let's see who is going to be playing for both teams. So we'll start with the forwards. Loughborough Lightning. We've got some pretty good players out for them today. Lark Davis back as hooker at number 2, followed by Katie Trevarthen, Dalika Menon, Courtney Holtkamp, and then Abby DeGid. Starting today, first time for Loughborough Lightning, Rachel Malcolm, Sarah Svoda, and there we go, 18-year-old Morwenna Torling starting at number 8. For Durham Sharks, we've got Herrick Bainbridge, Meg Gardner starting there, Jess Wishaw, Emily Oro, Orla McCallion, Mael Pickett, and Rihanna Manson for centre. Then heading to the backs, straight away we're going to see that we've got some international players up on there today. Helena Rowland will be starting on the backs. Got a few technical issues with the backs. There we go, we got them up and running, perfect. So we can see that our international players that played last weekend for Loughborough Lightning are there. You can see Emily Serret starting at number 13. Rona Lloyd as well, Olivia Jones starting strong role in fullback. Ella Viras, Helena Rowland and Ellen Ransbottom. And then for the backs, we've got Chloe Broom for DMP Durham Sharks, Lauren Fisher, Dewar Taylor, Lazel, Rosie Blount and Beth Blacklock taking her position at fullback.
Hello and welcome to today's game between Loughborough Lightning
and then just looking at the replacements, we've got Bryony Field, Daisha Harper, Leah Bartlett, Anya Richmond, Becky Noon, Jess Weaver, again a strong player for Loughborough Lightning, Lizzie Golden, both who started on last weekend are now sitting on the bench, and Rachel Woozy. And then replacements for Durham Sharks, we've got Hart, Hunter Curl, Tiana Gordon, Holly Thorpe, Ali Lewis, Cara Cookland, Camille Hillich for the replacements today. Brilliant, so we are going to take it on down to the commentary box with Sam Peters and joined by our guest commentator today. Will the Sharks sink or swim? Let's find out. Joining in the commentary box, over to you, Sam.
Rosa. I'm joined here by Jenny Maxwell, Loughborough Lightning and Scotland scrum half. Jenny, pleasure to have you here.
Thanks, Sam. It's great to be here. Thrilled to be sat up high watching the game today.
Yeah, unfortunately you picked up an injury against Spain playing for Scotland. How's your rehab going?
Yeah, unfortunately, I picked up the knock back in January against Spain. Yeah, I had a little up on my knee, but rehab's going really well. I've been really, really well supported throughout my whole rehab process in both the lockdowns. And yeah, hoping to be back on the pitch in the next few weeks or months, fingers crossed.
Sure, well, we're very lucky to have you here with us. Looking at those lineups, how do you think 7 changes for Loughborough Lightning is going to affect the team, or do you not think it's going to be much of a factor?
I like to think it wouldn't have too much of an impact. We've had quite a number of changes throughout the games that we've had so far this season, and everybody's stepped up to the plate. I think throughout training we've been really working hard to make sure we can swap in and out, and the players have really done that well throughout the games we've had so far.
Yeah, excellent. Well, in this season that's been decimated by the pandemic, we've seen some rule changes to how it's worked. Obviously, 5 minutes less in both halves. We're seeing a lot fewer scrums, with free kicks being given in favour instead of those scrums. How do you think that's affected teams in the league so far?
It's definitely taken a bit of getting used to. I think our forwards are probably missing scrummaging a little bit, but I don't want to speak on their behalf. But yeah, it means that the tempo is a little bit higher for a bit longer. There's just a few less breaks in play. But I think for Loughborough, certainly, like we kind of pride ourselves on our fitness. So yeah, hoping to be able to play at those high tempos for the full 70 this week.
Yeah, well, with this lack of scrums, there's obviously a lot less waiting around. We've seen different refs referee those free kicks differently. We've seen some of them let them play quick. A lot more are saying, no, we want it to be slow. But for those games where the referee is letting it play, that's almost more like a sevens sort of format, where it's just non-stop running. And obviously we've had players from both teams be in international sevens lineups. How do you think that sort of benefits them?
Yeah, it definitely benefits them knowing that they can play at those high intensities for long periods of time. It's just about the girls adapting to the way the ref is refereeing the game, and yeah, if they're allowing it to play quickly, brilliant, and we can try and get on the front foot. But if they're wanting us to slow down and let the defence get back 10, then yeah, we can adapt to that too. And we've definitely got it in our locker to play both.
Lovely. Well, the teams have just come out. We will probably see this moments silence we've had throughout the season. Today's fixture will be refereed by Dan Rowlands. And I believe we're about to have that moment's silence now.
Our ref today is Dan Rowlands, looking to set us off.
All right, so it looks like Durham will be kicking off to Loughborough. Jenny, what do you think we can expect from these opening few minutes between the two teams?
I think Loughborough are definitely going to want to be coming out of the blocks pretty quickly. It's definitely something that we struggled with against Quins a couple of weeks ago, or 3 weeks ago I think it was now. So yeah, definitely looking to start quickly, and I'm sure Darlington will be hoping to build on the performances they've had as well.
Perfect. Right, and we are underway here at Loughborough Stadium. Ball bobbled by Lightning, and immediately the weather showing that it's going to make it a little harder to catch the ball out here. Free kick, we've seen here the referee wants to just slow it down, get some authority on the game. And now DMP take it in. Ball comes out, headed wide. Loughborough really pressing quick in this early few soirees by DMP. Taken in again by Oro. And now it comes out to the backs. Slight miscommunication there, and it's gathered by Lightning. And just knocked on there by Serret. Jenny, we've seen two sort of hesitant teams here. They're not quite got going. Do you think that's just nerves for the start of the game, or do you think maybe that we're seeing a bit of damp on the ball, making it a little harder?
Yeah, I'd like to think it's just the ball's just a little bit greasy, and the girls are just adjusting to that. But yeah, on the turnovers, I know Lightning will be wanting to capitalise if they can.
Perfect. As now we're seeing Loughborough spread it wide in the hands of Rona Lloyd. Takes it into contact, and now they'll look to set again. Comes back, gathered by Talling, who's made some ground there with an excellent carry. And now Loughborough have options both sides. Referee just indicating the penalty advantage. Will be interesting to see what they do here. As Rona Lloyd looks like she wants to run all the way across the pitch, finally offloads it. And it's a good clear out by Lightning. But they've got numbers here on this near side. Helen Rowland with a pop pass to Helen Nelson. And now it's quick hands. Olivia Jones just getting caught, but she breaks a tackle and goes on one of those long runs we've seen her do multiple times this season. And Loughborough looking now in this attack to have much more structure than they did in those original days. And Helen Nelson makes a great run. Did that ball leak forward, maybe? Maybe not. But they're now into Durham 22. Oh, and now the referee calls forward.
The ref steamed that forwards, but Lightning doing really well there to work the ball all the way over to this near side of the pitch to where we're sat, and then finding the space back on the opposite side.
Yeah, we're seeing them really bring Durham into the breakdown and then spread it wide. Is that something that you think is definitely part of the game plan, or it's just in those early phases testing out the Durham defence to see how they're set up for this match?
Yeah, absolutely, and I think the way that we play at Lightning, we're trying to find that space on the pitch, wherever that may be, if that's through the middle or on the edges. So it's just kind of that getting a feel for the game in these early minutes.
Yeah, and a mistake by Durham there, kicking it out on the full outside of the 22 will bring that back all the way here, because it was only a free kick, remember, not a penalty.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's a great take in the air by Lightning, as they'll now look to go wide. It's a long pass out to the wing. Ramsbottom, spreading her legs, breaks a tackle. And that's an excellent covering tackle by DMP Beth Blackrock there. It's now Holtkamp, gives it to Nelson. Now to Rachel Malcolm. She's a powerful runner. She'll go. She'll keep going. And she's over. The referee awards the try.
Yeah, absolutely brilliant. Now the girls will be really pleased to get on the scoreboard this early in the game, but some great kind of interlinking from the forwards and backs there as well.
Yeah, and we saw there that all came about from that excellent line-out take that Loughborough had, and then they just spread it wide and continued hitting that near channel. Definitely something that's been improved and they've obviously been working on. But a good finish by Rachel Malcolm, making sure to break those tackles.
Absolutely, and yeah, I think that might be her first try this season, so she'll be pleased to get on the scoreboard. And yeah, great take at the line-up.
And Helena Rowland with the conversion at the Hollywell end.
Excellent. She made that look fairly straightforward, didn't she, in front of the stick? So yeah, great finish.
Make sure. Now we know Emily Serret can kick from what we saw in the France game. We've seen Helen Nelson kick it multiple times this season for country and for club. What does that do for a side to have that many able kickers in the team?
It just means that the team's got plenty of options, and whether that's in open play or from the tee or kicking to touch. So yeah, it's great that we've got plenty of really technical kickers in the squad, and including Lizzie Golden on the bench as well. She also kicks from the tee. So yeah, endless list.
Endless list. As Lark Davis covered that kick and offloaded to Sarah Svoboda for a big game, and now they look to use the backs again. Helena Rowland tackled on this near side, and it's a turnover. Oh, Loughborough got this confused. It's not gone their way. Unfortunately, Helena Rowland's
just not rolling away in the tackle there from Loughborough, and that's something that we wanted to get on the right side of the ref with.
Yeah, it's one of those easy mistakes to make, but equally, if you get in the ref's head, he's going to be looking at for all game now. So something they'll look to eliminate now as DMP have their first line out of the game. And it'll be Bainbridge to throw it in. Goes to the front, and it's a good steal by Loughborough. There's now a maul where it looks to be a turnover. But because he called maul, there's no... Because he called a maul there's obviously... They don't have to wait for the ball to come out, and Loughborough have done really well just to fall on DMP's side of the ball there.
Yeah, it's a great turnover there. The ref kind of deemed that to be in Darlington's possession, and so yeah, it's a Lightning scrum, and we'll look to see what they can do from this set piece.
And seeing one of these very rare scrums this season. Loughborough have been fairly deadly at scrums this year. We'll see if they can continue their dominance in it now. But just looking back at that Rachel Malcolm try, she's recently just completed a PhD, hasn't she?
Yeah, she has. Yeah, it's Dr. Malcolm.
So Dr. Malcolm now. So if you do see her, don't get it wrong. But also a keen hockey player. She was Loughborough captain while she was here, and they've actually retired her shirt number. As now we see Helen Nelson go back to Helena Rowland, out wide to Olivia Jones, who's got wheels, and she feeds it to Rona Lloyd. And there's lovely link-up play by the two, and she's just caught inside the 22, fakes the offload, and now taken in by Vivas. DMP up quickly to cover that loose ball. And now Loughborough will look to set something more rigid here.
Yeah,
as
absolutely.
They come out, little offload to the forwards, hitting up those channels. And again, it's another broken tackle and meters made for Lightning. Rowland out to Serret. Will break on her own, tried to get the offload, but that was tackled excellently by Rosie Blount. And the ball's just gone forward in the tackle there. So that'll be a DMP free kick.
Yeah, that was a great defensive set from Darlington there. Loughborough looked to be on top on the far side with Rona and Olivia linking up well, but yeah, really good tackle on Emily Serret to turn that ball over.
Yeah, that's one that's definitely coached, taking that high tackle to prevent the offload, because when you go low, that still leaves the arms open. But great bit of coaching and execution of skill there by DMP's Rosie Blount. As now Durham look to build from inside their own 22. Loughborough players just getting out of the way, and now the ball comes back, and it's cleared to just outside the 22. Now, and this is a good opportunity for Loughborough. They're in quite an attacking position. Do you think we could possibly see a set move here, or are they going to just look to play off the cuff, do you think?
I'm sure they'll have something up their sleeve. But yeah, really good field position, and they'll be hoping to keep down this end of the pitch, I'm sure.
Yeah, obviously you can't give away lightning secrets, which is basically what I've just asked of you there. Do apologise, but in now Lark Davis with the ball to the middle. Out now. Helena Rowland gives it to Emily Scout, who'll look to run, and it's an excellent inside ball to Ellen Ramsbottom, who hits Olivia Jones. She's got Lloyd outside, doesn't need it, dummies, and she's over for the score.
Really slick handling there from Lightning. They'll be really pleased with that, and I'm sure that will just help kind of build their confidence going forwards. But yeah, lovely little lift to Ellen Ramsbottom coming around the corner there, wasn't it?
Yeah, lovely hands there by the Lightning girls. That's obviously something that's been worked on the training ground, and they've been able to implement it in the game, which is it's always nice to see when you're back. When you put all those hours into moves, you're finally able to use one, and it comes off just as you plan.
Absolutely, and I'm really pleased for Ellen as well, getting a start today. Yeah, so she'll be really glad to get hands on the ball nice and early.
Ellen Ramsbottom comes in at wing as Olivia Jones moves out to full back to replace the injured Abby Brown. Now, she had Rona Lloyd on the outside there, but didn't need her. It's always good to have that extra support in the backs, as Helena Rowland makes the kick from a very challenging angle, which puts Loughborough Lightning 14-0 up. This is a great start for Loughborough Lightning, probably something they've looked for. And do you think it'll probably be their aim to try and get that bonus point in the first half, to then play sort of more flowing rugby in the second?
Yeah, with the start they've had, absolutely. They want to continue in this vein, I'm sure. But yeah, just probably really focusing on their processes as well, because it's cliche, but technically the score will look after itself if they do everything right. So yeah, we'll see. Ooh.
Little oof on there as a DMP player sticks a hand in to try and intercept that, but the referee deems that she was going for the ball, so it's only a knock on.
Yeah, I think slightly lucky there, but yeah, she did get up nice and quick, so it was a good read, but just poor on the execution.
Yeah, as Loughborough now look to set something. Ball's gone backward there from Lightning. Slightly wry pass from Helena Rowland, but they set again. It's come back to her as she hands it quickly out to Rachel Malcolm, who offloads to Rona Lloyd, and now she's breaking tackles, showing her pace, and she's off to the races. She's got support in Emily Serret, but she won't need her. Oh, she will. What a tackle. I did not see that one coming.
Yeah, really good track back. She had the angle on her there, didn't she? But no, yeah, I don't think Rona saw her coming either.
And Rona Lloyd taken down, and a turnover ball. What a great tackle from, looked like Amy Lazel for the DMP Sharks. As now it's charged down, but the ball's gone out the back, and that'll come out for a 22. A bit of a relief from Durham there, but
absolutely.
What a track back.
Again, yeah, really good scramble D from DMP Durham Sharks with Rona and her pace. Yeah, you can kind of expect her to be scoring from then. I'm sure she'll be disappointed that she didn't, but excellent defence, scramble D from DMP Sharks.
It's one of those where, as a winger, you're probably likely to get a bit of stick in training the next week for being caught in that position. But now Loughborough, Helen Nelson throws it out to Emily Serret, who takes contact and goes down. But the clear out from Loughborough does come. And now it comes out. Courtney Holcamp juggles the ball out to Helen Nelson, who just loses it forward in the tackle. And referee decides no advantage coming, straight into that free kick advantage. We've obviously talked a lot already about Rona Lloyd and her pace. You've played with her in the Scotland setup. What's she like, just having that pace out on the wing?
Oh, she's great. She's a great player on and off the pitch, actually. But no, it's really good. It's just making sure that you kind of are preserving the space so she can really stretch her legs. And she's been really developing all aspects of her game as well, in terms of her footwork and her fend and her kicking, and she's developing week on week. So yeah, I love watching her play.
As DMP now build through the forwards, keeping it nice and steady, making sure to clear those breaks, and that's a big tackle from Loughborough. They're really coming up quick in these early few minutes. As now that ball is sent over the heads of Loughborough Lightning, covered well by Helena Rowland, and she's off. And that's an excellent tackle by, looks like the DMP number 8.
Yeah, again, DMP are really up for this physically, you can tell. Some really good one-on-one shots going in. We've seen one on Helena Rowland there and Emily Serret previously, and on Rona's cover tackle as well. So, yeah, absolutely working really hard in defence.
Yeah, that tackle there by DMP captain Rihanna Mason. She's been at the club since 2016. Actually has the most amount of starts for the club at 35. So this is a fairly inexperienced side with their starting lineup. Only have an average of 13 sides for the club. Does that sort of play on those younger players' minds, or are they just going in with the game plan?
I'm sure they'll be relishing their opportunities, and it's great links they've got with the university now up in Durham. And I'm sure it's just kind of going to take a while for maybe them to find their feet, but no, it's just great opportunities across the board.
As Loughborough now build, ball goes down, and as I say that, commentators curse. I apologise to any Lightning fans, but they knock it on, and then DMP knock it on, so that'll come down back to a free kick for DMP. And we've seen, whilst they have been on the back foot a lot, their scramble D has been incredible so far. They've been just getting back, making tackles. Is that something they probably predicted might happen, and so sort of worked on? As we see Olivia Jones trying to take it out of her 22 and getting brought down by Rosa.
Yeah, I mean, Lightning have definitely got lots of pace across the board, so yeah, they probably have worked on that, or just worked on kind of shutting those players down as quickly as they can, and it's worked for them so far.
And now Helen Nelson breaking the... sorry, that's not Helen Nelson.
I think that was Dalika there.
That was Dalika Menon, yeah. Mix up the numbers for me there. But Loughborough Lightning going forward, as we've become accustomed to them in these early phases. Out to Morwenna Talling, who got her third cap for England last weekend, and at 18 years old, that's a very impressive feat. As as DMP player Amy Lazel offside there, Loughborough not getting any advantage from the kick, and so it comes back for a penalty to Loughborough. They'll look to go to touch here, and we've seen from the few line-outs they've had already, they've covered all of them. As Helena Rowland goes long all the way down to the DMP 22. What a boot.
Yeah, Helena's got an excellent boot on her, plenty of distance in the bank as well, so yeah, really good kick to touch there.
Yeah, it just looks so effortless. Maybe, sounds about right.
It's the same when she gets those legs moving as well, she makes her running look effortless too.
As Loughborough in a similar position to when they scored their last try. Rachel Malcolm with a big call, and that goes close. Vivas takes it in, gives it to Rowland, who gives it to Scala, and that just goes straight to Sarah Svoboda, who's off, and she gets brought down. What a tackle. Nice little offload on the ground, and we've seen a lot of these offloads from Loughborough. Players going down and immediately just popping up. That's obviously something that they've been working.
Yeah, I think a little bit, but I think it's partly because Darlington are leaving that breakdown well alone. You can see they're not committing any players to that breakdown, which often, if you have got on the front foot, it gives the opportunity to lift that ball or get the offload away. Yeah, to stop that, they maybe might want to start having a little sniff around that breakdown. But
yeah. As Vivas fires it into the body of Helen Nelson, who's unable to hold on to it, and that'll come back. But another excellent passage of play. We've seen so many line breaks from Loughborough Lightning so far. It's just been flowing rugby for them, almost.
Yeah, I think they'll be slightly disappointed with the kind of handling errors that we've seen. But yeah, in general, really good momentum and line breaks, like you say. So it'll just be now, I think, once that's happened, kind of refocusing and trying to keep the ball in hand and keeping possession.
And DMP effectively clear their lines, as we're now going to have a water break. And we're seeing now Durham Sharks walking up in there, and there's actually, as I look out over the stadium, there's some spectators on a hill about a quarter of a mile about. How is it playing without? Unfortunately, you've not played a game this season where you haven't had to experience.
You're rubbing that in, son.
I was getting there at some point, but no fans so far this season. Obviously, now that some areas have relaxed rules, we will see an introduction of fans. How do you think that's going to affect teams?
I think it will just give them a real boost. We've kind of played this first part of the season with no fans, and I'm sure that the players are starting to get used to it. So I think when they do return, it will just give them a real boost to know that they've got their spectators there. And I think prior to this season at Loughborough, we were really kind of gaining a good following, and we had a really strong fan base that are eager to get back. And yeah, we're excited for them to come back as well.
Well, that's the first part of this first half done, and so far it's been all Loughborough, I think it's fair to say. We've seen a couple of DMP visits to the Loughborough Lightning half, but where they have been, they've been fleeting, and either there's been a turnover or Loughborough Lightning have clamped down on that. But DMP really impressing with their defence so far. Loughborough breaking lines, but Durham covering it rather well.
Yeah, and not only are they just scrambling well, which is what we've seen, but the shots and the tackles they are putting in as well have been really physical, and they've been making those one-on-one tackles after a period of pressure from Loughborough. So we'll make a real clean line break, but then all of a sudden the DMP defence is back, and those shots are going in again. So no, it's really good from them.
Yeah, as we look to be reset now, but we've seen a lot already, a lot of good tackles from DMP's Rosie Blount. England Rugby did a quick feature on her on Twitter. I don't know if you saw it, but it was really interesting seeing what it's like going through as Loughborough lose that line out and DMP cover, but working as a student doctor and then going to training. Like how's that affecting her training?
Yeah, there's stories like that all across the league, and these women out here and in the other games this weekend are so inspirational. And there we go, we've got a line break.
It's a break from DMP. Rosie Blount, as we're talking about her. However, there's not any support, and Loughborough Lightning managed to jackal that ball and turn it over.
Yeah, great turnover from Loughborough. They'll be really, really pleased with that. But yeah, just going back to what I was saying, lots of players kind of working in all different fields and playing at this high level. So yeah, it's brilliant to see. And I think we just make it work.
Yeah.
But no, we'll see what happens now at this line-up.
Yeah, well, we saw there Rosie Blount picking the ball up from the base of the right, and that's we saw that actually. Shauna Brown did that for Quins here. Is that an area that Loughborough may be struggling on, getting those guards in, as it's another overthrown line-out? However, Loughborough do recover it, and it goes wide to Helen Nelson. Emily Serret now with a little dink through for Rona Lloyd. And she's going to get there and brilliantly keeps it in with a nice little shovel pass to Olivia Jones.
Brilliant piece of skill from Rona there.
That's Svoboda with a line break. Otto. Fellow countryman, but it's a turnover. Loughborough unable to get players over the ball there, and yet again another trip to DMP's 5 metre line and another turnover for Loughborough.
Yeah, they will be disappointed with that. It's just kind of stifling that momentum that they're building at the moment, but I've no doubt that they will kind of rectify that in the coming minutes, I'm sure. Yeah,
as DMP clear their lines there. So from going from what was a very strong line out in those opening few moments to what may be slipping, is that maybe you think the conditions affecting the ball, or just a miscommunication in the line out?
Yeah, it's hard to tell from up here, but yeah, either mistiming or communication. I'm sure they'll look back at it in the week and rectify.
As Loughborough up quick again, as we've seen so far. Quickly up on those DMP runners. Referee going to award a penalty, but thinks better of it, as now DMP with a little grubber through, and that's juggled by Vivas, who manages to offload it to Jones, and now Helena Rowland will try her luck. Out to Helen Nelson.
There's a great option for DMP there, and there's the little grubber along the floor, and the kind of bobbling of the ball meant they had a chance to get up and put some pressure on.
Especially, and Helena Rowland with a line break. She's got Dalika Menon on her outside, but she just can't hold on to the ball as she dives on, and that's kicked out by a DMP player, by the looks of it.
Yeah, so lightning line out there, and again just another little handling error coming in from Lightning.
And we can see there Lark Davis just wiping the ball, so that from that grubber from DMP, that ball's obviously picked up a bit of moisture, which has just affected that final pass from Helena Rowland to Dalika Menon. As they go deep, Dalika Menon manages to hold on to this one, offloads it to Katie Trevarden, and they're cleared out well. Ball now in the hands of Rowland, out to Helen Nelson, and that's a great crash ball from Sarah Svoboda. We've seen a couple of them already.
she's so good at that, just straightening up and cutting that line back on the inside with real pace.
Emily Serret goes for the grubber through, manages to nutmeg a DMP defender, but DMP do ground the ball, and that's a 5-metre scrum to Lightning. Good option from Emily Serret there.
Yeah, great option, and it just kind of, that is one way to build the pressure and get Darlington kind of scrambling back, which they did cover it well. So yeah, great option from Serret there.
So in these opening moments of territory, it seems to have been all down DMP's 22, but from this scrum, Loughborough looking to build and maybe get across for their 3rd try of the afternoon. And we saw from the only other scrum that's happened today, it was a good contest, I thought.
Yeah, really good contest, and I think Loughborough knew that Darlington would be strong there, and they really do need to focus and go through their processes, else they will be punished.
Set.
Ball fed in by Elivaris, and now Loughborough look to build with that strong forward pack as they go towards the line. Ball just comes out at the end. However, it's a penalty try, Loughborough Lightning. Referee deems that was going all the way.
Yeah, it's a great scrum from Loughborough. You can see them congratulating each other there. That'll mean a lot to that forward pack when we get so few scrums throughout the games now. They'll be really pleased to get that one.
Massive confidence booster for the team. And no conversion, obviously, because it's a penalty try, that one. But DMP doing very well to hold Loughborough out for as long as they just did, but eventually that scrum just overpowered them.
They did, and when you're kind of defending in your own 22 for multiple phases or multiple periods of time, the pressure does build, and yeah, Lightning managed to stay in the right area of the field.
Yeah, and now Rachel Malcolm covers the kick and takes it straight into contact. Cleared out well, and now it comes to Helen Nelson. Emily Serret out to Olivia Jones. She's got Ellen Ramsbottom on her wing, but chooses not to use her. Good covering tackle by Rosie Blount. Loughborough looking to use a set here, but it's just put down by Courtney Holtkamp. Referee plays the advantage, but none coming. Another handling error for Loughborough.
Yeah, Ella just looked a little bit hesitant there in terms of who she was passing to. I don't know if there was a miscommunication, but yeah, they'll be disappointed with that.
And DMP go quickly with Chloe Broom offloading to Oro, and now goes again short. It's a good step, and DMP are off attacking the Lightning 22 for what may be the first time this half. Ball's coming slow, but it's still DMP's. And as I say that, it's turned over by Loughborough Lightning. And now they build with Emily Serret. She's got options both sides, chooses Emily Ramsbottom, and she's brought down by Emily Blount. But again, another offload on the deck as Helena Rowland uses those 7 skills. Couple of steps, couple of tackles broken, and then a big tackle at the end there. Now it comes to Vivas. To Holtkamp, who manages to hold on to it this time. Helen Nelson looking for that gap, trying to break a tackle, but not managing to as the ball comes out. And now Menon out to Serret, who goes for the long pass to Olivia Davis, and they'll look to attack on that right wing again. And that's a good two-person tackle by DMP there, managing to hold up that ball and resulting in a turnover.
Again, really good period of defence from Darlington there. Yeah, Loughborough would have been looking to kind of keep hold of that ball and build some more pressure, but no, great double tackle, like you say, stopping the offload.
Yeah, and DMP now getting another chance to clear their lines. But that was an excellent passage of play we saw by DMP in the Lightning 22. looking to hit those lines.
Yeah, some great footwork as well. Just getting on the soft shoulders of the Lightning girls there, but yeah, unfortunate not to be able to hold on to the ball.
And we've seen a lot of those sort of pick and goes from the base of the ruck at the moment. How important is it for players to sort of hit that soft shoulder going in at that 45-degree angle?
Yeah, it's really important. It's kind of getting the balance between going quickly enough so the defence aren't quite set, making sure you've got support with you. So it is a fine balance, but yeah, and then like you say, getting wide enough off those pick and goes to kind of get on a soft shoulder, and that's the same when you're playing off 9 or 10. A bit of footwork means you're not going to be getting hit square on, which is what I try to avoid as much as possible.
And as a scrum half, how it's obviously very useful for you, but are there ever occasions where you want to take the ball out, but the forwards have another thing in mind, and you're in the 5-metre line and they're going for it, and you just want to get it out?
Yeah, absolutely. I think there's times when I want the ball in there, and they know what they want to do, and we trust in that. And then equally, there's times where as backs we'll interrupt their processes to try and put the ball through our hands. So no, it's just a working together thing, and yeah, we trust them and they trust us. So.
As we saw there, a DMP line-out that wasn't quite straight, so now Loughborough, given the option, they choose the scrum, which we saw worked so well for their third try of the game. And again, Loughborough piling on the pressure, going forward. Her referee has no option but to give that penalty.
Yeah,
that's such a confidence booster, isn't it?
Definitely, yeah. Another scrum penalty for Loughborough. Really good pressure. You could see them moving forwards there. So that's a brilliant outcome.
As Helena Rowland with that easy motion just pings the ball down into the DMP 22.
Absolutely great touch finder again from Helena. She's played really well so far. Been really impressed with her.
And Loughborough now, Rona Lloyd coming in a bit off her wing. We could see something fancy here if they win the line-out, which they do. And they have the penalty advantage, I believe, taking the player in the air. But they'll use to build from this move. And it's driving. Still got the ball in the maul, and it's over the line.
Yeah, didn't need the penalty advantage after all, did they? No, brilliant mauling from the forwards. They'll be really pleased with that, and yeah, the other girls going in to congratulate them there. So yeah, great result.
Yeah, we see Lark Davis setting down for her 5th time this season, Loughborough's leading scorer, and we saw the driving maul there. COVID rules now say that you can only do that inside the 22. Does that affect sort of how you look at your exit strategy when you're in your own 22, or is it slightly easier if you know it can only come in your own 22?
Yeah, I think for some teams maybe they would like to be able to maul more, but for Loughborough I think it's perfect being able to maul in each 22. So yeah, and they've executed it really well there, so brilliant.
As Helena Rowland stands over this, her 3rd kick of the afternoon, and misses this one. But it won't matter to Loughborough. That's their bonus point try in the first half, which sort of takes a bit of pressure off them for the second half and the remainder of this game.
Absolutely, yeah, and they'll be hoping to iron out a few of those handling errors, I'm sure. Now they've got the bonus point on the board, there's no real pressure to try and force things too much, so you might see them kind of hold on to the ball a little bit more, hopefully.
As Lauren Fisher restarts this to Rachel Malcolm again, who offloads to Moana Talon. Comes to Nelson. Ooh. Loughborough just caught crossing there.
Yeah, just two players running the same line there, weren't they?
Yeah, and DMP take that penalty quick. Lauren Fisher taking it in. That's a great clear out by Courtney Holtkamp and forces a turnover.
Yeah, it's just taking those opportunities to fire at the ruck when the opportunity arises, and yeah, really well done from Courtney there.
Just knocking that set player back into the 9, throwing them off, and then getting straight over the ball again.
Yeah, really relentless play. That was brilliant.
Helena Rowland with one of those long touch finders again, taking Lightning into DMP territory. Now Helena Rowland, she's played for both the England 15s and the England 7s, but she came over from Saracens. How was it getting her into the squad?
It's been brilliant. She's kind of brought another element of pace and skill to the Loughborough game. And yeah, she brings her 7 skills. You've seen her footwork already today. So no, it's been brilliant having her, and she's been so good for us this season so far.
As Rona Lloyd recovers a pass from Helen Nelson. Loughborough on the far side of the pitch, looking to come back. It's a good offload in the tackle there. Get players over. That's Rowland looking out the back. Emily Serret has it. She's got a long option, which she takes. Moena Talling. Big tackle by DMP captain.
Hey, holding on.
However, Loughborough give away a penalty for not releasing. But again, we saw great covering tackles by DMP.
Brilliant defence, yeah, from DMP, just at the crucial time as Lightning started to gain some momentum.
Yeah, as DMP stick it out near the halfway line. Alana Bainbridge just trying to find a ball. Now she's got it. And DMP go to the back. However, that one's not straight, and Loughborough will have an opportunity to build.
Yeah, unfortunate for Darlington there. They'll be disappointed with that, I'm sure. And they were probably looking to have a go at Lightning and try and do some damage of their own.
We're seeing maybe our 4th scrum of the game. This I saw a stat before this week. The average scrums per game was maybe 2 or 3, but we're really being treated to one of rugby's delicacies.
We are. I'm sure the forwards will be loving it.
Any chance to get in and push. As Ellen Ramsbottom's off her wing. Rosie Blount just covering it. And Loughborough again with that driving force, keep the ball in, and it's another penalty.
Brilliant, yeah. It looked like that was always the plan, wasn't it? Ella didn't have any intention of kind of taking that ball out until that penalty came. So yeah, great outcome for the forwards again.
Do you think the referee will maybe start thinking about going to the pocket if these penalties keep occurring, or is it just something that's happening where Loughborough are overpowering DMP?
Potentially, yeah. I think it probably depends how repeated they are and in what areas of the pitch. But yeah, as it stands, at some point it might happen.
As Rona Lloyd with one of those trademark long kicks right down to the DMP 5-metre line.
We saw DMP's first scrum was quite a solid setup, so I'm sure they'll be looking to kind of rectify that as well.
As I imagine we'll see a driving move from Loughborough Lightning here. And one is formed up. DMP just holding them up momentarily. Oh.
You've sheared off and driven again.
Oh. So we've seen Lark Davis just splinter off with a player in front of her, but because there's no DMP players attached, the new rules truck and trail, that's not a try.
Yeah, absolutely that. Like you say, so there was no maul effectively. It was just 2 Lightning players with the ball there. So yeah, I'm sure Darlington will breathe a sigh of relief.
Because that maul was rolling.
Thank you, Katie.
Yeah, and I'm sure Lightning will be slightly disappointed that they kind of didn't keep their shape and remain kind of patient with that.
DMP now with a line out just outside their 22. Full numbers in the line-outs. And that's won by DMP. Good line run there by DMP, brings them outside. But she's not got any support with her. And the Loughborough players, Lark Davis in quickly there for the jacket.
Yeah, it's really strong over the ball.
Ella Vivas out to Helen Nelson. Emily Serret now. Rona Lloyd tries to go herself, but she's brought down just inside the 5-metre line. Ball scrolls out, and it's Moena Talling.
Blue on the line. Don't play the 9.
And Lark Davis now with the carry. Goes for the line. Held up. And that's the half. It's a good end to the half, I think, for Durham. They've avoided 2 late scares for tries and held their defence really well.
Yeah, they've defended really well on the line, haven't they? And like we said, we spoke about their scramble D as well. So yeah, Lightning would have been hoping to get over the try line, I'm sure, at the end of that half, but it wasn't to be.
But we've seen this first half, Loughborough have really made the most of quite a few of the opportunities, but they've also left a few points on the pitch. We've seen the ball, a couple of maybe unnecessary handling errors that they'll aim to iron out, and I'm sure that's something Rhys Edwards will probably address at half-time.
I'm sure it will be, and I think that they're definitely finding the space out there, and the offloads are helping them get the ball to those spaces, but it's just sometimes maybe one too many offloads, or the kind of, you get into a flow, don't you, and then yeah, maybe sometimes they should just hold on to the ball and take it in and reset and go back to their kind of phase play shapes. But no, I mean, the ambition to play is there, and they are finding the space. It's just then holding on to the ball for those extra phases.
But we've seen the line out today for both sides. It started off well, but maybe as conditions slightly deteriorated, we saw the ball getting a lot wetter. It became slightly harder at set pieces. Do you think this is something that they'll aim to send less line-outs long and keep it short, or is that just going to be up to each team?
Yeah, I think it'll be up to each team, and I'm sure Lightning will be wanting to use their line-out where they can. It's been pretty good for them so far, but yeah, conditions are a bit slippy out there.
Yeah. And now we're just going to send you over to some highlights from the first half.
Yeah, a really good first half from both teams. Sam, what did you think of the first half so far?
I mean, we've seen some excellent rugby from Loughborough Lightning and some excellent defending from DMP Durham Sharks. There have been a couple of handling errors that we've seen and we alluded to that might occur early on, but hopefully those will be removed in the second half.
Yeah, I mean, even though Durham still haven't got any scores through the first half, like you said, their defence is really good. It's almost like they've got some momentum going into today's game.
Yeah, they've really excelled, and we've heard from Jenny how their scramble D has been sort of next level. We've seen Loughborough break the lines at numerous times, but there's always been a Durham player there to cover them.
Yeah. Is there any specific Durham players that are really struggling today?
I wouldn't say there's any specific players struggling. We've seen the likes of Rosie Blount out on the wing have to make tackle after tackle, and she's really excelled at making those. But in terms of individual players, I wouldn't say there's anyone specifically struggling.
That's good. Yeah, that's really, really good. And of course, Loughborough Lightning always dominating the field, especially at the stadium here. They're doing really well, aren't they?
Yeah, they are, and we've seen their forward pack, both at scrums and rolling lineouts. They've just been sort of unstoppable. They had made a slight mistake there in the closing minutes of that half, but apart from that, they've sort of been dominating DMP.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, what do you think was going to happen in the second half? Do you think that Loughborough is still going to dominate? Do you think that Durham's getting a little bit more tired?
I think it'll be hard for Durham to stop them. Obviously, they're going to go in and head coaches are going to give them a talking to, but
I think now that Loughborough have established that dominance, it'll be hard for DMP to stop it, and it will be something that Loughborough look to go back to in this second half.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, this isn't the only game where we've got the scores coming through. We've also got scores from elsewhere, especially the earlier game. So, Exeter Chiefs and Wasps. Of course, Wasps leading 24-14 there. Saracens leading 17-5 at half-time, and then you've got our Lightning game 26 up. And of course, we still haven't got our scores in from Gloucester and the South Sharks games, but soon we will find out the scores from them and see if that league table changes at all. Brilliant, guys. Okay, so predictions. Do you think Loughborough is really going to dominate the second round?
I think we will see a couple more Loughborough tries, especially from the wingers. But with the forwards playing the way they are, it's hard to see any tries coming from elsewhere.
Yeah, absolutely. And like you said, I mean, Durham Sharks have had a pretty impressive defence so far. Do you think that they've really been working on that this past week?
Well, we saw at the end of their Worcester Warriors game, DMP only allowed a single try in that second half, and it's obviously that they've brought some of that momentum from that second half into this game. But when your defence is playing like that, it's a lot easier to sort of rely on it, and it's definitely something that they looked at in training.
Yeah, absolutely. We're going to take a quick break before we carry on looking at the first half, and we're going to get prepared for the second half. We'll be back in a bit.
Oh, it's beautiful. It's gone for the line. He's over the line. That's the goal with good save. And that is another try for Loughborough. That is another try for England.
The forwards.
All right, so first half, Sam. Loughborough Lightning, they had some problems with their lineouts in the previous games. I mean, what are you making of their lineouts for this game?
Well, they started off really well, winning their first couple, and we saw their first try came directly from a lineout. But now that they've discovered their forward pack dominance, we're seeing a lot of ball going to the middle, setting a rolling maul, and just pushing Durham back time and time again, which I think is something they'll definitely lean on in the next half.
Yeah, absolutely. And we've had some incredible tries from Loughborough Lightning, but some of the key players have been Olivia Jones. She's really come through today. I mean, her sprinting ability is amazing. What do you think?
Yeah, we saw her break the line a couple of times, especially from her own half and go straight into the DMP. But the likes of, we've seen Sarah Svoboda make multiple tackles from short. We saw Rachel Malcolm score her first try for Loughborough Lightning, which is great. Sorry, Dr. Malcolm. And Helena Rowland, she's 2 from 3 kicks so far. Obviously, that penalty try, you automatically get a conversion. Yeah. But it's been great to see Loughborough just making those line breaks and having supporters on their shoulders so that they can pop the ball off and continue hitting that.
Yeah, I mean, our international players, they've just come back from their big game against France last weekend. Do you think they're still holding a lot of energy going into this game? Have you noticed any fatigue going on?
I haven't. Loughborough Lightning, especially Emily Serret and Helena Rowlands, they've been running around, bossing the game left, right and centre. As we see there, Olivia Jones with one of her trademark breaks. Nice little dummy at the end to Rona Lloyd, who I'd imagine will be a bit miffed she didn't get the ball, but that's the life of the winger. But yeah, no, the players' fitness has been incredible so far. They've just been running left and right, and it's been great to see.
Yeah, what about our players from DMP Durham Sharks? Of course, you can see Beth Blacklock doing some amazing kicks today. I mean, what are you making of her performance?
Yeah, she's really been able to change the field position for DMP. We saw a couple of long kicks from penalties, but they also had that little grubber kick in the first half that, you know, Jenny alluded to was a great sort of momentum changer. Ball was a bit slicker. We saw Loughborough then make 2 handling mistakes off the back of it.
Yeah, and you can see really strong defence. I mean, they're just powering through Durham Sharks today. I mean, what do you think that they're going to have to do in the second half in order to pull back this game?
I think it's just get up off the line early. They're sort of letting Loughborough Lightning come to them, which is allowing them to build up momentum. And we see there just another handling error from Loughborough Lightning as Helen Nelson breaks the lines. But yeah, DMP probably need to just increase the line speed a bit more. They've had a couple of difficulties at scrums and lineouts just with the forwards, but that's it's going to happen, and it's not something you can change just like that over half-time.
Yeah, do you think they're going to have to improve on this for their next game next week for round 7?
Well, they've got an interesting matchup next week, and it's definitely something they'll look to go into for the next game. But what they do in training, the coaches will decide. They'll look at this. They'll decide, you know, maybe our forward play wasn't what we wanted, but Loughborough had a very strong forward pack, whereas, you know, maybe they had a couple of handling errors that they'll think, okay, we'll look at this and aim to improve on that.
Yeah, and I mean, what about Loughborough Lightning? Of course, like you've been saying to Jenny, there's been a couple of handling errors going on with Loughborough Lightning, and I mean, we saw that also in their England game as well. Is it something that's common with Loughborough Lightning in England, or do you think that it's just a problem all round?
I think it's more common to do with the English weather. Like we're seeing today, it's not quite raining, but at the same time, there's a lot of drizzle. The ball is damp, and when it's like that, it just gets so slippy. Trying to do those, you know, quick passes into people's chests and quick offloads, you try and get your hands on the ball, and it just doesn't agree with you. So obviously, it's something that Reece Edwards will probably talk about to the players at half-time, saying that we need to maybe stop with these offloads and have more set plays. But it's been working for them so far, and they've got the upper hand, so I doubt we'll stop seeing that.
Yeah, and Durham Sharks next weekend, of course, they've got a big game against South Sharks.
Yeah.
So what do you think is going to happen with that game, or do you think they need to improve on anything specifically against South Sharks?
Well, I think hopefully they'll get more chance to go forward and attack against Sale Sharks. They've had a couple of good spells in the Loughborough Lightning 22 that they've just not been able to make the most of due to, you know, giving away a penalty or an unfortunate knock-on. But against Sale Sharks, Sale also without a win, currently just the 1 losing bonus point. I think that could be a real test for Durham and something they'd look to definitely prove a point on.
Yeah, I mean, what are we also making of the league table so far and the scores coming in at half-time? Have you noticed anything that could wobble a little bit on that table?
We were speaking about it beforehand, and I think most of the results are as we expected them to be. Saracens winning, Wasps winning, obviously Loughborough winning. Not that we're biased in any way. However, you know, they're winning as expected, which is just going to keep the table as it should be, and we'll wait and see what happens in those 2:30 fixtures.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we better see what happened in round 5. Let's take a look at some of the highlights.
Welcome back to the second half fixture between Loughborough Lightning and DMP Durham Sharks. DMP with a couple of changes. Alessandra Lewis coming off the bench, as well as Lauren Hart. Jenny, what do you think we can expect from this second half?
Much of the same, I think, from Loughborough anyway, and I'm sure they'll be looking to tighten up on a few areas. I think that Darlington will be looking to do more of the same in terms of their defence, but probably try to keep hold of the ball a little bit more if they can. But no, it's set to be an exciting half, I'm sure.
Excellent. As we're just waiting now for Loughborough Lightning to come out, we're seeing a lot of forward play at the moment, which is. Do you think this is something Loughborough Lightning will lean on in this second half, or do you think they'll maybe spread it to the backs a bit more?
I like to think that they'll kind of play what's in front of them and what's required. But yeah, that we have the ability to play through the forwards and then spin it out to the backs when it's on. So yeah, it will kind of depend on Darlington's defensive shape, but no, we've got options all across the field at the moment, so yeah, it should be exciting.
And you think we'll continue to see some of those long passes from Loughborough despite the couple of handling errors, or do you think maybe we'll see more short passes, keeping it possession secured?
I think they'll still have the ambition to play and throw that ball around, because they look so dangerous when they do, so I'm sure they will still try to do that where we can.
Excellent. As Dan Rowland's getting us underway, and Helena Rowland with a kick to this near side. DMP letting it bounce, but covered well by Amy Lazy. Now it goes to the forwards. DMP with a lovely clear up. And Jess Wishu takes it in. Beth Blacklock now looking to clear her lines and sends it into the arms of the waiting Olivia Jones, who brings it back to the middle for Helena Rowlands. Out wide now to Ellen Ramsbottom, who's got Helen Nelson on her outside, has a step but is tackled. But she's over the ball quickly. And now Loughborough look to build from the halfway line. Great tackle from DMP, and we see their line speed has definitely increased a bit from that first half.
They have come out the blocks quickly, haven't they, in defence? You can see the line coming up there and some big tackles going in. There was one on Ellen Ramsbottom on the far side as well, but she managed to get the ball away.
There's great hands from the Loughborough backs there. Olivia Jones thinking about passing to Rowan Lloyd and then deciding better of it and taking contact herself. But a great turnover from DMP. Loughborough not managing to dislodge the player on the ball there.
Yeah, Darlington will take confidence in that turnover. Again, another good defensive set. Yeah, just got it straight in over the ball, didn't they? So brilliant.
As DMP unable to find touch there, as we just hear that Bryony Fields came on for Lark Davis, as Rona Lloyd now on the outside. Good tough covering tackle by Beth Blacklock. Now Vivas out to Holtkamp. Helen Nelson feeds the forwards, and she's seen a gap and she's off. What a read by the 9.
Great spot by Ella Vivas, and she's so dangerous around the fringes of those breakdowns. She's been outstanding for us this season so far, having been out injured for quite a lot of last season, or all of last season, I think. So yeah, outstanding finish from her there, individual try. And
as a 9, that's the look you love to see. You know, DMP just not getting their guards in time, and acres of space with the fullback in the lineup.
That's it. I mean, we've been flinging the ball out wide, and they're probably worried about those wider players. So yeah, just kind of forgot, didn't they, about that around the fringes of that breakdown, and Ella punished them for it there.
And Helena Rowlands with the conversion.
A
real sniper's try for the Loughborough 9 there, as they score early on. But before that, we saw Durham's line speed definitely increasing.
Definitely, and some really good tackles going in, like we said in the first half as well. Real physicality and getting those players down really nice and early and quickly. Yeah, it's just kind of tightening up in other little areas, isn't it?
Yeah, and that try may be coming off the mistake of DMP failing to find touch with their penalty, as Beth Blacklock gets us underway again. Rona Lloyd covers in her own 22, and now Loughborough look to build. Helen Nelson out the back to Emily Serret, will have a run, and Olivia Jones unable to hold on to that. The referee decides it goes backwards, and Loughborough hold on to possession. And a fired pass to Rachel Malcolm. She'll look to offload, but thinks better of it, holds on. As now Helena Rowland goes for the long pass. DMP go for the interception, but Emily Serret manages to get it. She's got options in Rona Lloyd. There's a handoff, and she's got numbers. Gives it to Helena Rowland, and now she's away. It's a foot race between her and Rosie Blount. It's a great covering tackle, but the slick ground doesn't help.
Brilliant covering tackle, but yeah, excellent finish from Helena there, and some really nice handling actually from Loughborough to kind of isolating those players, creating 2-on-1s on the edges.
Yeah, we wondered whether they'd just hold on to the ball a bit more, but that passage of play has shown absolutely not. They're still going to look for those offloads when they're there.
Absolutely, when they're on, I think that's the key there, isn't it? We saw Rachel Malcolm hold on to one in the middle, where she probably could have offloaded, but no. So yeah, it's just making those decisions when it's on.
As now we're seeing Helena Rowland maybe down with a touch of cramp or just a slight injury.
She's just receiving a bit of treatment there, isn't she? Fingers crossed she'll be okay.
But yeah, another excellent run up the line by Rona Lloyd and Emily Serret. There we saw DMP's line speed maybe being their undoing, trying to get up too quickly.
Yeah, the lovely flat pass across to Emily Serret just meant that she got on the outside of that defender, didn't she? So the defender was kind of on a space instead of being on the player there. But I have noticed, it'll be interesting to see if it continues, that Darlington are kind of competing at the breakdown a little bit more, which was something that they weren't doing in the first half. So that's an area that Lightning will need to watch if they are kind of sticking players in there.
Sure, as Helena now looks okay and will be taking this conversion. Interesting that they've kept her on the conversion rather than switching to one of those other kicking threats.
Yeah, I'm
Helen
sure.
Nelson and Emily Serret. Ball comes in, not quite enough as that one misses the right upright.
Just wide, but yeah, good strike by Helena, and yeah, I'm sure she'll be looking to get that over next time.
I'm sure she'll be excused after scoring a try like that.
Absolutely, and from a wide angle as well.
As DMP currently only have 14 players on the pitch, Rosie Blount in the DMP try zone just receiving some treatment. Rachel Malcolm covers this kick and looks to take it in again. Now it's Nelson, out the back to Serret. She's got Jones and Ramsbottom outside her, and now it's Ramsbottom. That's a big hit there, as Loughborough moving forward. And just the pass a touch low there from Helen Nelson. Loughborough unable to cover it, and
yeah, accidental offside there, I think, for the penalty. Really great timing from the forwards there, running off Helena, I think. Running off Helen.
It actually turns out there was a penalty there. The knock-on turned into an offside, which you hate to see. But now it's DMP building. Beth Blacklock gives it out to Fiona Dewar as she takes it back in field and into contact. DMP cover well. And now a slightly wayward pass, but it's recovered well by DMP. Midway in the Loughborough Lightning half. Beth Blacklock with a long pass out to Amy Lozelle, and she breaks a tackle, but is swiftly brought down by Rachel Malcolm. Durham players getting over the ball well.
So we'll see what Darlington are able to do here, holding on to the ball for a few phases.
Oh, but now it's a wayward pass, and Emily Serret's got a boot on it. And covers that tackle well. Loughborough with a player over, but they're not going to turn this ball over. And just a wayward pass from DMP set them back another 30 metres. Those are the sort of mistakes that I think they'll be looking to get rid of.
Definitely a great tackle there from Sarah Svoboda.
As now they'll use the forwards to build. But a turnover for Loughborough Lightning. DMP just unable to clear out. And Lightning doing to DMP what DMP were doing to Lightning in the early phases of this half.
That's it, isn't it? Yeah, just remaining calm in that defensive line and making the tackles and waiting for the moment to get over the ball when it presents itself. Really good execution there for the turnover.
And Helen Rowland with another big kick, just floating it over the DMP winger's head there. And now we'll get to see a new line-out throw in Bryony Field.
Yeah, another one of our young players, Bryony. She's been great for us this season so far too, and be interesting to see what she can do for us today.
First line out of the day, and it goes to a Lightning player, which is always what you want off your first line out of the day.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But now that driving maul is headed towards the DMP line.
Well, I think Rachel Woozy on the wing. Lovely.
And they score. What an impact coming off the bench.
Absolutely, yeah. Great line out for the forwards and line out for Bryony there. Moore was obviously moving along nicely, but it was interesting. You saw Rachel Woozy there just spot on the right-hand side, on the short side. There was actually no Darlington defenders, so I was wondering if they were going to lift it up to her, but no, forwards took it over.
Well, when you've got the momentum of the forward pack like that, and you've got the option out wide, you know, that's probably just what Loughborough Lightning were looking for from that scenario. Absolutely,
yeah, and great results, great execution of the line out and the maul, and just good patience all around in attack and defence at the moment.
And Rowland with a conversion slightly inside where she had it this last time, and this time makes no mistakes. That one's slotted right through the uprights.
Yeah, brilliant kick from Helena there. She doesn't miss those twice normally. So yeah, excellent that she managed to get that one over.
That gives Lightning a 45-point lead over DMP.
And now we see a Loughborough Lightning change. Lizzie Golden comes on for Helena Rowland. And is this because, do you think, because she played an international at the weekend and they just want to rest her for next week, or?
Potentially, yeah. And I think Lizzie played really well for us last week against Worcester as well. So she really does deserve the game time. And obviously Helena picked up a little knock there. I wonder if that's played into it as well. But yeah, we've got the depth, and Lizzie's going to be eager to show what she can do.
As Helen Nelson fires the ball to Sarah Svoboda, who makes another big line break, covered again well by DMP's scramble D. But now Loughborough in the DMP half. Olivia Jones now looking to offload, and now does, and it's a foot race between Beth Blacklock and Ellen Ramsbottom. Blacklock gets the better of her, brings her down inside the 22. But Loughborough with another big gain from the wingers. As now they come out the back, Olivia Jones, Helen Nelson, and now tackled. Lizzie Golden with her first pass. Emily Scarrett brings it out wide, and that's Rachel Woolsey on the try.
Yeah, really lovely, well-worked try, wasn't it? Great line break from Sarah Svoboda to start it off, and again, just working from one side of the pitch to the other, and a lovely pass from Emily Scarrett to Rachel on the edge, and I think that's her first try this season as well, so excellent for her to get on the scoreboard.
Well, we saw there some excellent line runners by the Loughborough Lightning players, just to draw those DMP players closer into the middle of the pitch to get that ball out wide, but it still required, you know, some good handling that maybe wasn't there in the first half.
Yeah, looking much more clinical, weren't they, in that passage of play, and they'll be looking to continue that, I'm sure. I think we've just seen Moena come off there, Moena Talling.
Lizzie Golden will take over kicking duties from basically the same spot. Not Emily Scout, it's the England kick. Helena Rowland just had her kick. And she just pulls it a bit far left.
Yeah, just in front of the post there, but it's kind of not a problem, is it, on the scoreboard at the moment? But yeah, I'm sure she'll be slightly disappointed in that.
Yeah, Loughborough with a host of changes early in the second half, bringing some fresh legs on. I think that's not the last try we're going to see today. This try scorer, Woolsey covers the ball, and it's a big lung-busting run.
You're on the floor and you're crawling with the ball.
But again, Loughborough giving away another one of those rolling penalties, and DMP take it quick in the hands of Mael Piku. Big counter-up by Loughborough Lightning, but DMP secure it. And now it's Amy Oro taking it in. You can hear the DMP winger calling for it out wide. They really want it to go wide now. As Blacklock keeps it. And now they build again. Piku takes it in. Svoboda's over the top, and she's managed to jackal this one.
Yeah, again, it was a DMP penalty to start with, but Loughborough just remained calm in their defensive shape, and yeah, the opportunity presented itself, and again, the turnover was good, so brilliant defensive set.
And do you think that was the right decision to take it quick for DMP on that penalty, or do you think they probably should have, maybe set themselves a bit and kicked a touch?
Well, I suppose if you kick to touch, you've got to back your line out to get that ball back and give you a good platform. Definitely not a bad decision to tap and go from that position. Posts was obviously an option as well, depending on who's on the field. So,
as Lizzie Golden with that penalty, just failing to find touch, with Beth Blacklock kicking it out, but Loughborough taking the line out quickly, and Emily Scarrett has just knocked it on in a dangerous position, and that's covered by Sarah Svoboda in an offside position.
Offside.
Yeah, it's so difficult, isn't it, when the ball comes towards you? You sometimes just instinctively go to pick it up, but yeah, an offside
training
position.
From an early age, you see the ball on the floor, you have to dive on it, and you just forget momentarily that you're in an offside position. And Darlington taking their time with this penalty now.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see what they do here. It looks like they're going for the conversion.
So the T comes running on, and it'll be Beth Blacklock to take this kick.
Okay, yeah, I'll vote for that. That's fine, thank you.
Not before she has a drink. But we saw her, slot a penalty for Darlington against Worcester last week to take the lead. She was top 5 in points scored in last year's season before it came to an abrupt end. So this should be bread and butter for her.
Absolutely, yeah. In front of the sticks, and yeah, go straight through the uprights. So no, it's an easy kick for Beth there, and she's been brilliant today. I think.
Elizabeth Blacklock, 3 points to DMP.
And Lightning kicking off for just the second time this match. The first time, obviously, being the restart. As we see in the distance, the fans on the hill have grown in number. Word's getting out that Loughborough Lightning are putting on a show.
Yeah, it's the hot ticket, isn't it? That out on that hill opposite us.
As Loughborough Lightning bring a host of changes. On comes Datisha Harper, Leah Bartlett, and Jessica Weaver.
I think we've got Anya Richmond on as well, from a few moments earlier too in the second row. Sure, they'll be looking to put their mark on the game.
As DMP cover that kick well and now look to build. They do have a penalty advantage for what seems like offside, but the ball squirts out the back, and now big carry by Mael Piku.
Hold.
And no advantage coming from that penalty, but a good challenging kick for DMP there, just giving their winger a chance to get there.
Yeah, absolutely, really competitive kick, had good height on it, and it was actually quite nice to see the 9 kick that off the cuff, as opposed to kind of setting up that long ruck that you sometimes see. Means that you might catch the opposition sleeping or napping, I guess, in the backfield, but it was covered well.
As Beth Blacklock goes for touch, doesn't quite find it. Olivia Jones looks for an option, but then decides she's going to have a go herself. Nice handoff on Fiona Dewar, who did make the tackle, but she then never released. Loughborough take it quickly with Weaver. Emily Scarrett back inside, and that's a big carry by Lightning, who then get over the ball well. Quick ball for Lightning means that Scarrett can fire it wide. Lizzie Golden with a quick offload to Rachel Malcolm.
Lovely.
Emily Scarrett just showing her class with a little offload through the legs. We saw her try that a couple of weeks ago at Quins, and it didn't come off, but there it did. Just another highlight for the reel.
Absolutely, one to add to the bank, isn't it?
As we say that, Loughborough Lightning knock it on, and it's a free kick to DMP. But Emily Serret showing her class there.
Absolutely, yes. Unfortunately, we couldn't find a bit more space on the edge, but no, great piece of skill from Emily. I'm sure she's got bags of those in her locker as well.
Replacements for DMP, number 19, Imogen Cal.
DMP with 2 changes and Loughborough with 1 as well. DMP bring on Imogen Kill and Tiana Gordon, and Lightning bring on Rebecca Noon.
Yeah, Becky Noon will be excited to get on the pitch today, I'm sure. And after a great shift from Sarah Savona.
Oh, what a run! Ellen Ramsbottom breaking tackles, couldn't quite get the offload there, and you think maybe should she have held on to that one?
I think possibly, yes. It was a great line break from her. She's a really strong runner and strong ball carrier.
And DMP just failed to hold on to that one, but Loughborough looking to play the advantage. Rachel Malcolm taking it in. Big leg drive, forcing a couple of extra metres that maybe she had no right in getting. And now Jess Weaver brings it out. Olivia Jones now. Good tackle by DMP. And Lizzie Golden just making sure she's attached to that ruck to give her scrum time some hot time.
Fingertips, wasn't it? Fingertips there.
As now they look to come to this near side, Lizzie Goulden. Nice little kick, but it's deflected off a DMP player, and now Taylor looks a bit for Fiona Dewar, then gets a boot on it, but it'll trundle out just inside the Loughborough 22. And a good passage of play from DMP there before they knocked it on.
Yeah, definitely. There wasn't many options for Loughborough going down that short side, so the kick through was definitely the right option, but just not quite executed, and yeah, great turnover for DMP to get back down in their end of the field.
One of the tougher kicks to execute, that little grubber when you're on the short side with not much space.
Yeah, finding the holes, isn't it? It can be tough.
Bryony Fields with another good line-out throw and a Loughborough win. Jess Weaver, flanker was up quickly, so I had to take it in herself, and we're seeing a lot more of that with the flanker flying up at level. But now a great run by Loughborough Lightning's Leah Bartlett.
Darlington's line speed has definitely ramped up, hasn't it? You can see them coming up there.
Yeah, great covering tackle there by Durham. There's now an offload and another big hit. Durham up again quick, and we're seeing Loughborough struggling to make those meters. As now Tiana Garden picks up a loose ball, and it's DMP's ball in the 22. That turnover came out of nowhere.
Absolutely, a great turnover for Darlington.
As Gordon now tries a little step, doesn't make it, and DMP now being forced back. But we're seeing Loughborough commit two players to each tackle, just making sure they're getting that player to the ground. As an unfortunate knock-on gives Loughborough some time. Lizzie Goulden clears her lines, and she's got Olivia Jones chasing after it. But Beth Blacklock clears. Shouts of forward from the crowd. I think that was hopeful. But a huge tackle there by Lightning.
Absolutely.
And a good counter-up, but it's picked up. Still with Mael Piku. And these just coming, just a little knock on there, but we're getting a bit frantic in those passages of plays. We're seeing the scrum half getting out quickly, maybe the forwards not being set.
Yeah, it can be difficult if you're ready to play as a 9 and things aren't set. Sometimes it's better just to slow things down slightly. But that is being said, that is hard when you're under a lot of pressure, and the breakdowns are under a lot of pressure. So the Darlington scrum half will be wanting to move that ball quickly. But yeah, hard if things aren't set up ready to go.
Yeah, well, we saw Durham pushing Loughborough in their own 22, and a mistake by Loughborough, which was dived on very quickly by a Durham player, gave them another opportunity. And that, I think that was down to Durham's line speed, was it not?
Yeah, I'd agree with you there. I think their line speed has definitely ramped up in this half compared to the first, and especially in the last sort of 5 or 10 minutes. Yeah, they're definitely are kind of coming up quickly, and I'd say they're coming up quickly more as a line than they were in the first half. In the first half, we saw quite a few kind of those spot defenders shooting out and trying to take man on ball, but no, they're looking to be working more as one unit at the moment, which is good to see for them.
And that one big break by Emily Scout was maybe caused by one lone player just rushing up and giving her that extra time just to step out around her.
That's it, yeah, and it's great if you shoot and you get the player with the ball and your tackle sticks. But yeah, if you miss that player, it's a big hole for them to move into.
Yeah, but we've seen Durham definitely making it harder for Loughborough in the rucks, committing more players to try and force that turnover, which they've done successfully a couple of times.
Yes, they have, definitely, and that's something that has changed from the first half, isn't it? And they're competing a lot more there. They just seem to be a little bit more hungry in the way that they're defending.
As the drinks break ends, we'll restart with a Loughborough Lightning free kick for a slight knock-on by DMP. But this half, it's a lot more back and forth rather than one side, dominating, which is good to see. As Jess Weaver gives a little tap, and now it's out to the backs. Lizzie Golden gives it to Olivia Jones, who's tackled well by an upcoming DMP defender. Now they'll go out the back. Helen Nelson with a great ball. And Letitia Harper's off, tackled there midway inside the Durham half. And Loughborough now going quickly through the backs. Emily Serret, just couldn't hold on to that ball.
Yeah.
But again, we've seen, the centres giving those flat passes, just letting the forwards run onto it, hit those gaps.
Absolutely, the timing there was perfect from T, wasn't it? She timed that perfectly and just went straight through the hole. Great line break.
As DMP look to go quicker than they normally would. Just building another flat pass and a few metres gained by the DMP player. But again, Loughborough committing to that ruck late, trying just to disrupt it, and they do successfully.
The ref deemed that tackler not to be held, I think, there, so she got a few extra metres.
Beth Blacklock with a good pickup, sending it to Mael Piku, but she's got no supporters, and Jess Weaver over that ball brilliantly well.
Yeah, really good turnover from Jess Weaver there, probably one of the smallest players on the pitch, but she definitely packs a punch. Yeah, she should be pleased with that one. She saw the opportunity, she went for it, and she survived the clear out.
Yeah, always run the risk of a big player coming in and clearing you out there, but she did very well to hold on to that ball. And
yeah, she locked onto that ball, didn't she? And the referees are really looking for that active lift now in those turnovers. So yeah, she was definitely there tugging on that ball.
As now Loughborough with a line out in the DMP 22, they'll go to the middle and they'll set up that driving maul. Bryony Fields just secures that ball at the back. Loughborough being told to use it. They only get one now due to the COVID rules rather than two. And Jess Weaver pulls it out, gives it to Helen Nelson, takes it in, good clear out, and they'll go quickly. She's got another. Oh, she had a look, tried to get there, but great covering tackle by DMP. And now it'll be the forwards. She's over.
Really good finish there. Really good tempo to see Lightning playing with that tempo in the 22. The maul went really well. Came to a stop and they moved the ball straight away, and the point of contact was just being moved constantly there. It's really good.
Yeah, we saw another instance of DMP just not setting their guards, giving the Loughborough scrum half a chance to just snipe it. Unfortunately, she gets caught just before the line, but then we see another a pick and go from the forwards, just hitting that weak shoulder.
That's it, hitting the weak shoulder and going quickly enough to catch the Darlington defence not being set. So yeah, really good finish for Lightning there.
As now Lizzie Golden with her second kick of the day from a more central area. Little leg lift and straight through the posts. Made no mistake this time.
No, brilliant conversion from Lizzie there. Excellent. Really good to see these kind of substitutions settling into the match and putting their mark on it.
It was good on that try. I didn't see who scored it, unfortunately, but she got tackled at line, but just makes that extra effort to get the ball over the defender and down over the white line. As DMP now bring a host of changes. It looks like a complete front row change, along with Holly Thorpe, who actually used to be a Lightning player.
She did, along with Orla, yeah. So Holly Thorpe was with Lightning last season. Really good young player coming through the college system here. So it'd be good to see what she can do.
There's a big carry there for Anya Richmond. And now Loughborough take it more centrally. And we're just seeing the forwards come from such depth with such speed that it's really hard for the DMP tacklers to take them down on the spot.
Excellent, yeah, and really good lines as well. So Abby Dugan just cut a good one there. Like you say, good depth and just picking the holes.
Now Emily Serret just has a look up to see if she can kick it, decides better of it, and takes it back into contact where she's got players to clear over. And now it'll go wide. Rachel. Slight forward pass by Lightning there. They did have an overlap, but DMP again up quick, just shutting off that long pass that she was looking for.
Yeah, I think Lightning really challenging themselves to play the picture there. You might normally see teams kind of exiting from that position, but they had the overlap and they went for it, and fortunately was slightly forwards.
As Emily Hunter takes that free kick in and makes good ground with it. Now Jess Wishu. Strong line, but a great tackle from the Lightning defenders. Now they're calling for it wide. Beth Blacklock takes it in. Just Loughborough up quick, shutting off those outside options, and it's a steal in the tackle. As now Emily Serret again with an audacious pass just over the top.
Great turnover from Helen Nelson there, stripped in the tackle. Really good strength from her.
We see there just another quick offload and a great. Yeah, a great clear out by Abby Dugged there, but DMP just off their line a bit too quick that time.
Yeah, I think they might have thought the ball was out there and went for it, and sometimes it comes off, but no, not that time.
Oh. Emily Serret just clearing the lines in the process, knocking something over in the scaffolding. We won't need that ball. Let's hope we've got another one.
Katie, just hold it, please.
But we've seen DMP sort of come alive in this second half, like they did against Worcester Warriors, and it's just sort of totally changed the game for them.
Yeah, definitely. They're just looking a bit more excited, ball in hand as well, and in the defensive line like we've spoken about.
But a penalty there will set them back as the player unable to roll away, and that's a tough one at the moment, because a lot of the time you see just the player fall the wrong side and then they get trapped in, and if you can't show you're making the effort, then more than likely it's going to go against you. As Emily Serret sends this one long but doesn't manage to find touch. Good pick up by DMP, and now a little touch over the top. Liv Jones backs herself on the outside against Taylor. Steps Holly Thorpe, but now it's a turnover.
Thought that tackle from Jess might have been deemed as high there, but I think she's got away with that one.
No advantage. Knock on.
But no, we'll come back for the knock-on by Loughborough, and DMP again with yet another good defensive set.
Yeah, did really good to stop Liv there with her momentum. It kind of stripped the ball in the tackle.
As we're hearing. Oh yeah, Loughborough ball, forgot about that. It's only a free kick, so it is a Loughborough line out. And that one, not quite straight. It's the first line out of Bryony Fields. It's not gone to plan.
Yeah, this is a good opportunity for Darlington now. So that's 2 errors from Loughborough back to back. So the knock on, and then the not straight in the line out, and it really does give them the opportunity to build a bit of momentum. And so we'll see what they do with it.
And DMP are now electing for the scrum, which we saw. This is the first scrum of the first half. Of the second half. In the first half, it didn't quite go their way, but obviously we've seen changes from both sides, and DMP feeling like they can really change this one.
Yeah, they must be confident. And we'll see if they can put some pressure on the Lightning pack.
Bind. Set.
It's a good initial push from DMP, but Loughborough have turned this one over and it's picked up by the 8. A little offload that did go to ground, but now it's Lizzie Goulden. She's tackled just over the halfway line. But Loughborough have numbers this way if they choose to use them. Bryony Fields out wide to Harper. She manages to hold on to the ball well, but a good covering tackle by DMP means that she can't offload that one as she might have liked to.
Yeah, Loughborough just trying to find their shape here now, aren't they?
And Emily Scarrett out to Helen Nelson, who'll give it on to Lizzie Goulden. And now Olivia Jones will have another chance to run at it. But she can't get the offload away, and she's brought down just inside DMP territory. As again, we see another one of those flat passes to a forward. She had the space, but just couldn't hold on to the ball.
That's it. Again, timing was perfect, but it's so difficult running at that pace and so flat to the line. Not sure if Anya was expecting the ball there, but if it had gone to hand, I'm sure she'd have been through a hole.
And DMP take this tap quickly. Ball out to Blacklock, who will choose territory, and this ball's going to skip through. Just checks up before the line, but rolls into the Loughborough try. But
yeah, she found grass there. It was a great option. And Lizzie's gone quickly with the 22 drop out to herself. Really well executed.
Yeah, and Loughborough managed to retain possession with that. And now Annie Richmond redeeming herself, taking a similar line and managing to hold on to this ball. But now Loughborough go wide. Emily Scarrett looks to clear her lines. She's inside the 22. Manages to find grass and keep it in. Beth Blacklock now recovers it. Fakes the kick, and now she'll... Oh, she's broken one tackle. She's got Taylor on her outside, who dummies, but then a big tackle from Emily Scarrett.
Yeah, we managed to find some space there in broken play.
Tiana Gordon. On to Imogen Keel. And now Loughborough on the back foot a bit, but a big tackle there will give them some momentum, pushing DMP back. And now it's Holly Thorpe, tackled by Rachel Woolsey. Tiana just a touch ahead of Tiana Gordon, but she manages to recover it, and DMP being pushed back here. We're seeing again another great example of Lightning with those two tacklers coming in, wrapping the player up, not allowing the offload.
Yeah, staying connected and coming off the line. Some really good defensive line pressure from Lightning, like you say, that they've just kind of been going backwards. Darlington, unfortunately.
Just over Taylor's head, she'll use the outside of her boot. Doesn't manage to keep that one in.
Yeah.
And that one's coming back.
Unfortunate mistake from Darlington, because that definitely was the right option. They'd been pushed back for a few phases, and there definitely was some space to kick to there. It's just unfortunate it went out on the full.
But a brilliant defence from Loughborough Lightning there. Starting well inside their own half, they managed to push DMP all the way back, partially due to a few handling errors, but I think that was the pressure that they were being forced by coming up so quickly.
Yeah, I'd agree. And our defensive coach, Brad, will be pleased with that set, I'm sure.
That one will be shown in training next week. As Rachel Morgan can't quite hang on to this one. But referee says it goes backwards. However, DMP do fall on it, and it's now DMP possession. Blacklock being called to kick it, and does. She manages to find space despite being tackled during the kick. And Olivia Jones now with the offload. Just able to keep it in. And, oh, looks like a knock-on advantage there. Oh.
No advantage, untouched, that's the game.
And that's full time.
Full time.
Well, we saw Loughborough Lightning make the most of a lot of opportunity in that game. We saw a lot of line breaks from both teams and some incredible defensive sets. But in the end, Loughborough Lightning come out on top, 57-3. Jenny, that was a much better second half performance from DMP, I thought.
Yeah, I actually think there was some good play from both teams, but definitely Darlington stepped it up in the second half. And yeah, defensively they looked more like they were working as one unit and challenging the breakdown a little bit more. And they actually held onto the ball for more phases, which they were struggling to do in the first half. But yeah, some great passages from Loughborough as well. And yeah, looking dangerous in broken play, but sometimes the ball just not going to hand occasionally.
But the overarching theme in that game, we just saw Loughborough forwards dominating the game. In the first half, it was those line-outs and scrums, and in the second half, while there was still a couple line-outs that we took all the way, we just saw the forwards hitting their lines and just making those extra metres in the tackle.
Definitely, timing, like I mentioned before, was really good from our forwards, running off 10 especially, and yeah, just picking the hole, and if the ball was going out the back, they were definitely kind of fixing the defence in front. So yeah, they'd be pleased with that.
And we saw, in the second half, DMP came out with a lot more a sort of different defence. They were contesting at the ruck a lot more. They were coming up as a team. How do you think that affected the Loughborough Lightning sort of framework in those early few minutes?
Yeah, I think they adapted. Lightning adapted to it well. It maybe meant that they needed to play through the phases a little bit more instead of picking off those shooting defenders, which I think they did well. And we did see the line breaks that we've spoken about previously. Yeah, but yeah, like you say, Darlington did defend well in that second half.
Yeah, we did see two excellent 9 breaks, which I'm sure you were very pleased to see. Both times, well, one time the 9 going over for the score, second time Jess Weaver not quite making it, but again a great line break and the forwards just finishing it off. What's it like seeing those younger players sort of excel?
Oh, it's great. It's really, really good. And we've got a solid group of 9s at Loughborough. And we all kind of work really hard to push each other on. They definitely keep me on my toes. I've said this before, obviously due back from injury, hopefully in a matter of weeks. But the girls have been playing so well, it's going to be really difficult to win that shirt back. They've been excellent, and to see them grow in confidence. Ella coming back from injury, and Jess, very young, coming up from the development team last year. They've been outstanding for us.
Well, Loughborough with a resounding win. They've got Serret Sharks is 2 weeks' time back here, but they've got Exeter next week.
Wasps, I think.
Wasps.
Is it?
They're playing someone next week. I
think it's Wasps next week.
Could be Wasps next week. What sort of momentum is this going to? I mean, granted, DMP are bottom of the table, but at the end of the day, a win's a win in the Premier League. What sort of momentum do you think they're going to take from this game?
It'll be massively important. One, the result, but just having a run out. I think obviously a week off last week. The girls were itching to get out there and put into practice some of the things that they've been working on in training and just get the ball through the hands again in a competitive game. So I think they'll take lots of learning from this game into the game next week, as I'm sure Darlington will as well.
Yeah, Darlington, despite not getting, it might not be the result they wanted, but there's a lot of positives that they can take from this game. The way they responded in the second half, and just an excellent scrambled defence throughout the entire game.
Yeah, definitely, and I think they would have built on the momentum from their game against Exeter last week, brought that into this week, and I'm sure they'll take lots of learnings from today into their next game again next week, which I think is Serret, isn't it, for them? So no, yeah, lots of learning from both teams, I'm sure, but it's just good to see them back out there after a week off last week.
Yeah. Do you think both sides will be looking forward to the return of fans? I know we've spoken about this before, but from next week, obviously lockdown ends, we go into the tier system. Some teams will get to play with fans, some won't. Especially for a home team, that's got to be a big boost.
Yeah, it will be. I'm sure friends and family have been, and fans have just been desperate to see what's going on, and they've been relying on the live streams, which have been great, but obviously not every game has managed to have a live stream. So I'm sure the fans, the friends and the family will be keen to get there, but it will give the teams a boost, I'm sure, just to hear the crowd's reactions to the game. yeah, maybe not if you're travelling away and they've got a big crowd, but we'll see.
Well, Loughborough stay at the top 3. Do you think this is sort of a good step, what we're seeing at the moment with the league table? Do you think that's going to be a good indication of what it's going to be like at the end of the season, or do you think the Loughborough Wasps and Gloucester Hartpury are going to finish a lot closer together?
It's hard to tell. I think all the teams are developing their depth that they've got within the squads, and we're seeing that week in, week out with the changes that are being made, whether that's for COVID reasons, injuries or internationals. So depth in the squad is going to be massively important, and I think that's something at Lightning that we've been working on really hard in terms of developing in those younger players, but also yeah.
Well, Jenny, thank you very much for joining us. It's been a pleasure to have you. I'm going to pass back over to Rosa now.
Yeah, brilliant game from Loughborough and DMP Durham Sharks today. Of course, Loughborough taking that win nice and easy today. And like we mentioned at the start, this isn't the only game that has happened today. We have got some live scores from the other matches. Let's take a look at what the scores are showing us today. Okay, so Wasps and Exeter Chiefs finished their game. Wasps winning 24-14. Bristol Bears and Saracens taking the win as well, 36-10. And then, of course, we've got our game there, 57-3. And then, just at half-time at the moment, we've got Harlequins and Gloucester. Harlequins leading 12-0 up. And South Sharks sitting on 5-0 against Worcester Warriors so far. Looking forward to seeing what happens with that game. So how do these scores affect the league table? Let's have a look. Here we go. So, of course, the two big dogs still sitting at the top of the table there, but Saracens now leading 31 points up compared to Harlequins at 25, but of course we've still got those scores coming in till the end of their game. Loughborough Lightning finishing on 25 points, sitting in third place, nice and easy there. Wasps still really close behind Loughborough Lightning there on 22 points. Gloucester Hartpury at 16. Exeter Chiefs and Bristol still on 11. Worcester Warriors sitting at 6 points. South Sharks still sitting on their 1 point, and Durham Sharks still to get their feet going in this league, but I'm sure we'll see some points coming through later on in their matches. And we are joined again by our lead commentator today, Sam. Just give us an overall, what do you think of today's game?
I thought it was an excellent game between both sides. Obviously, Loughborough coming away as the winners on the day, but we saw DMP with a much better second half than they had. But at the end of the day, the Loughborough forwards just dominated that game.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, what did you make of the second half from Loughborough Lightning? They still showed a lot of momentum going into the second half.
I think they did really well to recover from. DMP changed their defensive set a bit, and they did very well to change it, but we saw tries from the likes of Ella Vivas and another good break from the replacement Jess Weaver. But as we're seeing there, Helena Rowland with a great try. Lucky that the conditions were as they were meant that she could slip all the way from outside the 5 in. But I mean, it was a great second half from the Lightning girls.
Yeah, and I mean, that was a tough one, trying to get a score through that one. I mean, it was a misconversion, but I don't think that really shook Helena Rowland today. She's played an absolutely incredible game. I mean, they took her off halfway through the second half. I mean, was that a good decision to make? Well,
we saw when she scored, she did pick up the knock. She then went on to kick. That conversion did miss it, but then got another one from a couple of metres away. But when you've got the likes of Lizzie Golden on the bench, who played incredibly well last week, it's a good replacement to have. And if she did have anything from that knock, then it's better safe than sorry. So good decision from Reece Edwards.
Yeah, I mean, how significant was today's win for Loughborough Lightning?
I think it was an important win to get. It was a good 5 points, and will definitely keep them in third place in the table. And it's always good to get a win against any Premier League side. But they did well in the first half. They did well to recover in the second half from what was maybe, and they did have a couple of handling errors that you alluded might happen, and the weather sort of stayed the same, so made the ball slippy. But
They did really well today, and I think they've got a lot of positives to take away from the game.
Yeah, and Durham have still played a really good game. I'm really impressed by their performance, both in the first half and the second half. I mean, what do you do? Do you think that they're really happy with their performance today?
I think they'll be happy with their performance. Again, they've got a lot of positives they can take away. They had a lot of attacks in the Loughborough 22 in the second half that, just a couple of knock-ons or just excellent defensive sets from Lightning meant that there were turnovers. But it was the same against. It was the same in the game last week. We saw they went behind in the first half and then had an excellent second half. So I think they'll be hoping that next week they'll have a good first half and a good second half rather than just a one-half team.
Yeah. So what specifically do you think that they need to work on for next week?
I'd say maybe when they're at the ruck, setting their guards, just getting people around that ruck, because we saw today both the scrum halves making big breaks, and there were a lot of spaces, and especially towards the end when those rolling mauls were formed, we were seeing the blind side being wide open. So as long as they can set those guards, they'll be in a good defensive set for next week.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm guessing that Loughborough Lightning probably train a lot more than Durham Sharks on a regular basis. Do you think that really shows in their performance out on the field?
I think it definitely helps for a team to have regular and often training sessions. But at the same time, it's definitely a mindset for both teams. Like a lot of the Loughborough players are internationals; they're paid contractors, whereas some of the Durham players, I was talking to Jenny about. Rosie Blount, she's a student doctor. She works 9 to 5 at the NHS and then goes to training an hour and a half away. So it's great to see that we're still getting players play, and it's just it's good that they've now partnered up with Durham University, which will hopefully help them.
Yeah, absolutely. And we've seen some incredible lineouts from Loughborough as well today. Do you think they've improved more on their lineouts in today's match? Yeah, we definitely saw in the first half Loughborough's lineout was a lot more together. They were hitting their numbers, and then the rolling maul was working well. Occasionally in the second half it didn't go their way. They had a couple of missed throws, and then they made a replacement at hooker, Lark Davis, coming off for Bryony Fields. She managed to hit her first few lineouts excellently well. Again, we saw another big lineout maul going over for a try. But at the end of the day, I think they definitely worked on them, and they've definitely improved. So they'll be looking forward to next week. Well, they'll be able to show it off again. Yeah, and Loughborough Lightning have got a really important match coming up against Wasps. They're both very close in the league table. What do you think Loughborough needs to do to prepare for the Wasps game?
I think they will prepare as though it's any other game. Obviously, the Wasps are high in the table, and it's going to be a tough game for them. But they've showed their class today. They'll be able to play it as though it's a top team, and they had a good game against Harlequins. They were problem solving throughout the game, and when it came around to it at the end, they put it all together, but just a couple of minutes too late. So they'll look to identify those faults early on and just get there in the first half.
Yeah, and the same for Durham Sharks going into their next game next week against South Sharks.
Yeah.
Do you think that they've got an opportunity to really get some points on the league table against South Sharks?
Yeah, I think they'll definitely be aiming to prove a point. They've obviously not got a point yet, and coming up against Sale is a good opportunity for DMP to score some tries and show what sort of rugby they can play.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, Saracens and Harlequins are doing pretty well in the league table so far. I mean, predictions. Do you reckon that Saracens are going to stay ahead for the rest of the league, or do you think Harlequins could bring this back?
Well, I think when Saracens and Harlequins play, it'll be an excellent game. They've both got incredible teams. Saracens obviously being the defending champions, but Harlequins having a host of incredible players. So when it comes around to their game, it'll definitely be one to watch that week.
Yeah, and I mean, we still have to watch out for Exeter Chiefs, because they're still a pretty strong team in this league so far. I mean, what are you making of Exeter Chiefs so far?
I think they did have a rough start. They lost the first 3 on the bounce, but they won their last 2. Obviously, they came up against Saracens today. They've got Saracens next week. They had a tough game today. Didn't quite get the win, but I'm sure we'll see. They held it close. But yeah, I think Gloucester Hartbury will have a great game next week as well. So it'll still all be to play for in those top 4 places.
Yeah, and I mean, lastly, the next time that we're going to be here is going to be the Loughborough and the Exeter game. What do you think is going to happen in that one?
Sale. Yeah, so Loughborough's next game at home will be on their home pitch, because technically the University Stadium isn't. They will be back on the first team pitch. But playing Sale Sharks, I mean, they'll have had a tough game next week against Wasps, and they'll be, depending on how that goes, they'll have stuff to work on for that game. But I think it'll be an excellent game to come back to playing at home with.
Yeah. Anyway, Sam, thank you so much for commentating today's match. Thank you. And thank you for everybody that has watched from home. We'll look forward to seeing you again soon here at Loughborough University. But from all of us at LSUTV, have a really good afternoon. Thank you very much.